when we're interviewing people, they have to be able to demonstrate their competency. But if you're not clear about what you need them to do for you, and you interview them based on, do they sound good? Do they look good? Do they feel good? Am I desperate? Like, all those things will cause you to have a bad hire. And it isn't the employee, it's the person hiring them.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Good to see you guys.
Hi,
Natalie, congratulations on the book. I got it ordered, so can't wait.
You.
Absolutely. So my question is, how did you capture your processes in order to duplicate and create content? Because again, I just watched Cardone Ventures in awe. All the events, all the programs, all the booklets, all the everything. Like, how did you guys accomplish all that? I have a guy like kind of following me around videoing right now, but how did you guys capture like all your processes and detail that out in order to create content?
I have an awesome podcast. It's on
Yes.
my podcast called Blink Woman, and it's called The Process Tracker. And that episode, and I can find it in the chat here and put it in there in just a second. But
That would be awesome.
Podcast goes deep into how we actually structure processes and how it's structured in our shared drive.
People ask this question, and I want to make sure I set proper expectations with business owners. Learning process is a process. It's not an event.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff you see is the iterations that I created with the teams over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So when you come into some of these events, we've been training on this stuff since 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I mean, Natalie was training on some of this content. And then what she's done through process, because the process is the granular incremental improvement on what you know works, right? So Natalie's podcast will cover how to create a process. But I want everyone to understand, process is never like you do it once and then it's just over with, and then you do something else. It's a continued perspective of improving what you can prove works. But the beautiful thing about what makes this work for us is I decided in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13 to create a system that was replicatable in the marketplace. And a lot of these things that we're dealing with today are the fourth or fifth iteration of something that started in 2009 or 10 and deployed across 3,000 locations, working with business owners, helping them grow and scale their business. And the reason that Natalie and Heather and Candace and Rich and the people that are core to our team understand this stuff is because they've been with me for 10, 11, 12 years iterating it. So they understand the root of it. And I think this is the thing, is you got to sit with your teammates and you got to build the root and then build on it. But you can't hire people in and just throw them and say, fix all this stuff for me. And when you're a 9-employee company with someone that doesn't know how to do it, you're going to find yourself more in trouble.
Yeah. No, that makes
So you're starting in the right
sense.
place, man. You're starting in the right place. Watch that podcast. Somebody needs to pay attention to what you guys are doing to find your success. And then the other thing is, when you come through the sales execution workshop, you start learning how to write scripts. You start learning how to set up the conversation. When you go to programs like the People Essentials, you start understanding how to communicate with your people and show them the bigger picture on why they need to be developed. All that is process. Marketing, that's all process. So we've created an enormous amount of process for you. Now you just need to conform your company to it.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Hi.
My name is Simone Smith Bean. How are you? It says Smith Bean and Company. That's my law firm. But I'm really here to ask you a question about my online gaming company. We just recently brought on a general manager because we had to move to Miami after the pandemic to take care of family. And we just needed somebody to really manage. So we were referred to somebody and they came in and they pretty much tried to wow us every day, but we have seen that things are falling apart sometimes and they try to cover it up without actually having some action. And I've been reading Natalie's book. I bought her the book too. Right after I saw your interview, I bought everybody the book for them to go and read it and understand. But she's like, she can't even figure out how to download the Kindle. And we're a technology company. And this is like the third employee this past year and a half that has come and leave. And well, 2 others left, but this one, she may have to go. And I'm just like, where else to turn to find good people who really want to push our business? We could do really great sales, but we just have to have the right people in place. So my question really is, because I have to run my company from abroad, how do I really motivate the team to put in the effort that I want to see? We just launched a new product last week. I'm expecting the goals to be reached, and I'm not confident that they're going to make it.
Yeah.
I would definitely continue reading the book. You said that you've started it. A few things that stick out to me. One, in your interview process, if you're having a hard time as a technology company, having team members who work to propel your technology and they have issues with technology themselves, you likely in the interview process probably could have asked a different question, or better yet, done some sort of case study to ensure that they were competent in these areas. So you could ask them like, hey, why don't you download this thing and actually have them share their screen while they are doing it? I will look up the chat study.
Tell everybody here what you make people do before they even get up to be interviewed. Like you make them present to you and show you with the core values.
The third step, but the second step, before they get the core values component, the second step really is, I'm not going to waste our team's time. It's valuable time for our leadership team members, or even just you on one interview, to hear somebody present your core values and all of these nice alignment things if they can't actually technically do the function of the job. And so I think the first step really would be, what is the case study, so that you never make the same mistake again. My second piece of advice on this is, as soon as you make team member mistakes, which everybody on this call, I don't want you to have the issue of only having 3 team members that you've had to let go in the last year. I want you guys to have a target of 30 team members or 300 team members that you had to let go this year in order to get to the real number that you need in order to grow and scale your business. So as you start thinking with, man, if I had to lose 30 team members next year, what would I be adding to my process 30 different times to fix it, to do it differently, to iterate on the process? So now that you've had this one instance where this Kindle thing was the issue, in order to create confidence in yourself as a business owner and somebody who's going to continue to go after your market opportunity, you have to go back and rectify and fix and make one change to make that process better, so that you don't make the same mistake a second time.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, what did I do well? What do I not do well? If you don't have a challenge for people you're interviewing on their competency side, like in finance or in operations or in marketing, when we're interviewing people, they have to be able to demonstrate their competency. But if you're not clear about what you need them to do for you, and you interview them based on, do they sound good? Do they look good? Do they feel good? Am I desperate? Like all those things will cause you to have a bad hire. And it isn't the employee, it's the person hiring them. So what we like to do is be as concise as possible, exactly what we're looking for, what the competency, what the skill set needs to be. And then Natalie makes them jump through a bunch of hoops. What percent of people do you think by the time you start to make them jump through a hoop just automatically fall out because they're unwilling to do it?
70%.
70% of the people that we interview never even make it to the third round because they don't want to put the effort in. Let me be crystal clear. If we go through this whole interview process and then you say, well, if you hire me, I'll work for this much, but if you keep me as an independent contractor, I'll do it for less because I don't really want to not work from home or whatever. He says, if you land there at the end of this interview process, we will immediately disqualify you from any other conversations or ever working with you, because all these employees will go out and play all these games looking to make money, but not wanting to be committed. So the first and foremost is find people who are committed.
That's it.
And then put them through the tests and then hire them.